Well, hello everybody. It is a mini record time with Chris. So the first Record Store Day Black Friday 23 record I want to highlight has a local connection to us. Marion Brown was a professor of music at Bowdoin College, which is where the first Bull Moose was. We didn't overlap with him, just a little kid when he was there. And this is, he's a sax player. And Leo Smith plays trumpet, and they both play. This is just totally just creative improvisation, and they also play percussion when the other one. It's very cool. And maybe you've got this. It was reissued in the '70s, and this is the reissue, which is just for my collection. But they're going back to the original cover. And it's also worth mentioning that ORG Music is the label that did this, and they always do a really good job. Speaking of people that always do a great job, I'm just going to show you the Cal Tjader record, but Jazz Detective here. The guy who calls himself that has been working in the music industry for a long time. Everybody loves him, and all of his releases are top notch. He does a fantastic job of finding cool stuff in various archives and getting it out, but always great packaging, great sound. He releases stuff under Resonance Records and also some under Elemental, but all those jazz records are great. And you can kind of tell because they're a little heavier, and the packaging's a little heavier than a standard record. Let's look at some picture discs. Sia has this really nice looking record, and these are previously released Christmas songs, 5 of them. And they are, first time on vinyl. Kind of you've heard that story before. And here's the flip side to that. Not literal flip side, but Rob Zombie has a picture disc. And so, here you go. Just put that on your table, on your wall. Enjoy that. So Asteroid City came out this year, and another Wes Anderson movie. His soundtracks are always fantastic. Nice back. It's a cool movie, and it's one of those ones where there is outside music that you've heard before, and then there's a band that's kind of a character in the film, and so some of their stuff is on here. Some great 8-bit video game soundtrack, Konami classics here. So this has got music from like Blades of Steel, Bayou Billy, what's a big one here? Monster in My Pocket. Anyway, whole bunch of stuff. Castlevania. So enjoy that. And I think this movie might have kind of slipped past a lot of people, but it's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And the film, it's a slasher movie about what happened when Christopher Robin grew up and what happened to his imaginary friends. Well, things get ugly, but the soundtrack's pretty cool. It's got the big sweeping orchestral scores like you would expect from a normal live action film about Pooh. But then it's got the sort of, 80s stereotypical kind of like music boxy with a lot of reverb kind of thing like you get from, horror movies like Child's Play. Or Noise for Now is an organization that raises money for women's health issues, mostly around abortion, and they have a huge following in the artist community. And so this compilation includes people like Wet Leg, Tegan and Sarah, Slater Kinney. I never knew how to pronounce that, and you'd think I would by now. Amanda Shires and Jason Isbell, Cat Power, My Morning Jacket. A lot of great stuff on here, and these are all songs that you wouldn't be able to find easily elsewhere. Another soundtrack right to the film What the Hell Happened to Blood, Sweat and Tears. And actually, that's a good question, because how did Chicago get so much bigger, and why do we think of Chicago or Tower Power when we think of horn bands before we think of Blood, Sweat and Tears? Like something happened and they didn't really make it out of the early 70s. These are recordings from a tour that they did in behind the Iron Curtain when the Iron Curtain was still a thing. Related. Maybe you saw earlier this year, I hope you did, record collectors, that there was this huge box set of Stax songwriter demos. And there was, this was an immense project where they digitized like 1,000 tapes. And these are all, it's songwriter demos from Stax. And so, the producer of that put 13 of them together on this record for us. If the entire box, which is fantastic, by the way, if that's a little too much for you, you could be happy with this. A lot of fun here, English Beat, for all you like ska punk people who got into Real Big Fish or, Garbage and stuff like that. Well, this is where that came from. There were a bunch of British bands in the late 70s that started mixing ska with new wave and punk, and the English Beat was one of those bands. The big songs are on this record: Twist and Crawl and Mirror in the Bathroom. And this is one of those great ones where you got, they've expanded it to 2 records with a bunch of live stuff and some extended single mixes. Similarly, Captain Beefheart here, Bat Chain Puller, if you know the song. And this is a little easier on the ears than the stuff he did with Zappa a few years earlier. And like the English Beat record, there's a whole bunch of extra stuff. So you get the original record, which is not really the original record if you know the story, but we don't need to get into that. Olivia Rodrigo. These are 4 songs that kind of accompany more or less her new album, but are different versions. And so, hey, if you already bought that and you're into her, perfect time to get this. Got some Linkin Park demos. These came out on CD as part of like a deluxe kit, but this is the first time that you could get them on vinyl. And there's a great record store story around this because a really well-respected record store in California found this Graham Parsons concert, and this is the first real release of it, and it is. There's not, he died young, so there's not much out there by him, and this does have Emmylou Harris singing all the way through it, so it's going to be great. But it's a real, like that Stax thing, it's a real, it's like a real gift to us, something that nobody thought they'd ever get to hear or even thought it existed. I just want to say, have a great Thanksgiving, and I hope that between now and Black Friday, you are listening to something awesome.